I was just chatting to my very good friend, Robin Banks, who I'm so excited that he's here today. Thrive in happiness and mindset.
Here's the thing, be committed. If you're gonna do it, say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you just get up and go do it, because there's something about that action. And I think the biggest thing for a lot of people, they have great ideas in their heads, but they're afraid of taking action because they're afraid of failure.
I have constantly in my life, when I feel fear about something, the more I've practiced it, if I recognize that I'm feeling that fear, I go, okay, you dive in right now, because the minute you dive in, you realize there was nothing to fear in the first place. Hello and welcome everybody. It is Thrive in Happiness and Mindset. And sometimes that's a little bit more challenging than other times of our lives. I was just chatting to my very good friend, Robin Banks, who I'm so excited that he's here today. Welcome, Robin. How are you doing?
I'm exceedingly well, thank you, Susana. Excited to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak again.
Absolutely a pleasure. We were both saying that, it's 2020, which is a slightly more challenging time than I think most people have experienced in their lifetimes. And I can see there's a lot of you tuning in. I love when you guys tell me where you are tuning in from. So please do put your countries in the bottom. Hello, hello, hello. I see you all. And also, this is a live Q&A, so you are welcome to ask any questions that you want. I do have two things that I'm going to discuss with Robin, because I think they will be beneficial to you, and they're things that I've been really dealing with, and I've heard a lot of people dealing with. But of course, we will answer any of your questions. So if you've got any questions for us, please type them in the comments below. And give me a thumbs up if you can hear everything. Tel Aviv, hello from Tel Aviv. That's wonderful. So Robs, eating the frog, that is a saying that you actually taught me. And this morning I woke up, I've been getting into the 5 a.m. club. It's actually 5:30 for me, but it's a good shift already, away from 7:30, so that's 2 hours earlier than I would normally get up. I've been slowly working my way up, and now at 5:30 I'm waking up in the morning. So hopefully
it's dark. That's really early.
It's dark. It's waking up in the middle of the night. That's what it feels like, And I've got to drag myself out of bed because my lovely man is next to me, and all he wants to do is like cuddle, and it's cold, and that's what you want to do. And I've got to drag myself out of bed so that I can not eat the frog essentially. But I have started doing a very lovely morning routine of meditation and yoga, which I always speak about, but I haven't found the space, actually created the space in my life to do. And this morning, instead of going for a walk, I ate a big frog, and I dived in and I started doing some work that I've been, those things that you put off on the sides. And I just thought of you, and I thought so many people must be doing that at the moment, because we're dealing with so much. The last thing we want to do is eat a frickin' frog. What does it mean to eat a frog? I think maybe we should share that with everyone first.
First of all, I want to clarify, it's not my saying, it's actually a book by Brian, and his name escapes me, his surname, Brian, very well-known speaker. His name just escapes me at the moment. I'm sure it'll come to me before the end of our session. But he wrote the book called Eat That Frog, and it's a great title, because you kind of go, what the hell does that mean, eat that frog? And his whole thing is it's about dealing with procrastination, and how often most people struggle with procrastination, and they find it difficult to take action. And the biggest thing that stops us is that we keep thinking of it as this big frog that we have to eat. It's like, it's like, I don't want to eat the frog. So the whole theme behind it is that that nobody would really want to eat a frog. And
Rob, I'm getting some messages coming through that your volume is very low. Is there any way you can make it a bit louder?
Let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can get my microphone. Thank you for that. I didn't reboot my computer.
Ah, Okay, so while Robin gets his microphone, because I think that will help. He is coming across a little bit soft. Am I coming across clear for you guys? Let me know. Someone is saying Brian Tracy.
That's it, Brian
Brian
Tracy.
Tracy is the author of that. Thank you for that. And I saw that we've got people tuning in from Joburg, from where else did I see? Cape Town, Tel Aviv. Where did I see on this side? I saw somewhere else that was very interesting. New Zealand. Oh, welcome, guys. I love that we have a global community online and that we are all getting together to create positive vibrations. It's Friday, and Friday must be a day where we have happy vibes. So Robin and I are chatting about eating the frog, because this morning in my half asleep state, I did a status update on Instagram, and I was like, I'm eating the frog. I'm swallowing the frog. I can't remember the saying, but I remember Robin told me about this saying. So I wanted to just clarify that with you. So Banks, let's see if that helps a little bit.
Is that better? I hope that's better. I have plugged in my microphone, and I certainly hope it's better. I've ordered a better microphone, so it's on its way, but it'll take a few weeks. So is that better?
A little bit. I think maybe just project.
Okay. I will speak into the microphone like this. So, so whoever that was, they're 100% correct. It's Brian Tracy. So he's written this book called Eat That Frog. And often with procrastination, what happens for many of us, including me, is the hardest thing is that in our heads, we keep thinking about everything we have to do, and we analyze about it. And I mean analyze about it. Like we go over and over, and we don't take action. And the hardest part to taking action is the first step.
Yeah.
Because, like for me, sometimes, I don't know if you know, some people, when you have to get into cold water, when you're swimming either in the ocean or in Cape Town where it's very cold, or you want to jump into a cold pool, some people will go like one toe at a time and then like gradually work their way in. And for me, I like to get over. And so if the water's freezing cold, I'll literally just like and just dive in and just get it done. So look, we all have a different approach, but the whole theory behind Eat That Frog is that you is just do it. It's the Nike thing of just do it. And there's another author, and I forget her name too. In fact, I don't know her name, but she does this thing for overcoming procrastination, and this has worked exceptionally well for me as well, Susana, is that whenever she feels she needs to take action, what she does is she literally, and like next day she has to work out. In fact, she's a workout guru. That's what she does. And sometimes she really doesn't feel like doing it. And I must say, I've done this practice many times with incredible success. And what she does is she'll count down backwards from 5. And by the time she gets to 1, she just gets up and does it. And initially when I heard this, I was like, I don't know if that's going to work, but let's try it. And I want to tell you, it works exceptionally well. So literally what you do is you're like, oh, man, I don't feel like doing exercise today. It's just like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I must say, it actually worked really well for me because I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And so the whole principle about Eat That Frog is the hardest part to anything is the beginning. In my mind power teaching, I always say to people, the hardest part of doing your mind power exercises is sitting down to do them. The hardest part of going to the gym is going to the gym. Because once you're at the gym, you've done it. So the hardest part is getting out of bed. As you said, getting out of this bed this morning when you had to leave your man, it's getting out of the bed. It's that first step. But it's also very empowering when you take the first step. So the key thing is to take action. And in fact, I'm going to ask a riddle, and let's see what people can answer. I'm going to ask them to answer, and you have to repeat what you say. Quick question, all of you. 5 frogs are sitting on a lily pad. 3 of them decided to jump. How many of them are left? Again, 5 frogs are sitting on a lily pad. 3 of them decided to jump. How many of them are left? And I'll do it one more time. 5 frogs are sitting on a lily pad. 3 of them decided to jump. How many are left? So Susana, I need you to tell me the answers that are coming through because I'm always intrigued by the answers that come through on this one.
Okay, so I'm getting ha ha ha. I'll give it a try. So guys, take a moment and think about that. 5 frogs are sitting on a lily pad. One of them decide. Three of them decide to jump.
How many of them
How many are left? What are the answers that are going to come through? And while people are typing in that answer, Robs, because I always love sharing, as you guys know, I love including everyone. If you think that there is a friend that would benefit from our conversation that is happening right now, please tag them now in the comments, because that's a great way, whether they watch a recording of it or whether they join us now live, it's a great way of like expanding our community. Okay, so I'm getting some answers coming through. I've got 5, I've got 2, I've got 2, I've got 5, I've got 2. So there's a couple of 2s coming through and there's some 5s.
Okay, so I'll ask it again and then I will answer it. So 5 frogs are sitting on a lily pad.
3.
3 of them decided to jump. How many of them are left? And the reason why it is 5, for those of you who've got it, why is it 5? Because they just decided. They didn't jump. They didn't do anything. They're sitting there on the lily pad and someone says, what are you frogs doing? No, we're jumping. When? No, one day. One day is one day. Just watch this frog jump. That's exactly what human beings are like when it comes to really taking action to change their lives. They decide to change. Like, I really must stop smoking, Susana. It's such a bad habit. So, Rob, when are you going to stop smoking? One day. I'm just waiting to get through this rough patch. Or I love it when people say, no, I must go on a diet. When? Monday. You can't start on a Friday. Today's Friday. You cannot start a diet today. Let me tell you, when would now be a good time for change? The only time is now. I had an experience. I want to tell you guys, I had a very fascinating experience in 2nd of April, 2019, 13 months ago. I went to see a
date. I said, you know the exact date.
It changed my life. This day changed my life. I went to see a Chinese acupuncturist. I was dealing with some issues, and a friend of mine recommended I go and see this guy. This guy was amazing because he looked into my eye. Some of you have heard of something called iridology. Mm-hmm. So he looked into my eye, and please know I'm going to do justice to his accent, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it anyway. So this guy looks into my eye and he goes, lower back pain. So I said, yes, I actually do have lower back pain. Not your back, your adrenal gland. So I said, oh, yes, now I know. I said, I've been taking adrenal gland supplements. Supplement no work. So I looked at him like, there's no way I'm not taking my supplements, because honestly, if I didn't take my adrenal gland supplements for 2 or 3 days, literally I'd stop functioning. It's that bad. Mm-hmm. So I looked at him with this very skeptical look in my eye. So he looks at me and he says to me, how long you been taking supplement? So I said, 15 years. He says, see, no work. Now what do you say to that? Because I'm like I've been taking it for 15 years and still not working. This guy looked in my eye, hey, Susana, and he told me everything that was all my ailments just from my eye, what's wrong in my body.
I've had iridology. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's like, for any of you out there who have not had iridology before, I highly recommend it. It was like I was having my life read out of a book. There were things in there that I'd never told a soul that they picked up in iridology. And even when I had I went recently to 2 different doctors, and one of them was an iridologist, and he sent tests and the other doctor sent tests, and all the tests came back and I had an underlying virus. And the other doctor said to me, why would you test for that? I mean, you've tested positive, but how would you even know to test for this underlying virus? And it was the iridologist that picked up this underlying virus in my eyes. They're amazing. You guys should try it. Go back.
So this guy, anyhow, he does some acupuncture with me. He puts needles all over my body. Different parts of my body. And you're supposed to be in there for an hour. And within 3 minutes, I was like going, I could feel very wheezy. So I called his assistant. I was like, Carrie. And she came and said, just to let you know, I'm feeling a little bit dizzy. And she looked at me and she went, and she starts fanning me. She's like, just breathe. And she's opening the window. And she's like, doctor. The guy comes and he starts pulling out the needles. And he says to me, very sensitive system. Acupuncture, good for you. very good. And I'm like, it does not feel good. I felt like I was going to die. I felt so sick. And this was like 3 minutes of acupuncture. And he said, I lay down on his bed for like 45 minutes. And after saying, you feeling okay now? So I wasn't feeling okay, but I really wanted to go home. So I said, yes, yes. And I drove home feeling as sick as a dog. And the next day I felt amazing. I felt incredible. But here's the point. This is what I'm getting to and how this relates to eating that frog. As I'm busy leaving, he says to me, oh, by the way, new diet for you. So I said, oh, okay, what's the new diet? No more red meat. And I looked at him like, no more red meat. Now, I used to eat red meat at least once or twice a day. I used to eat a lot of red meat. He says, no more red meat. And I'm like, okay. I said, for how long? Rest of life. I'm like, oh. He says, no more chicken. How long? Rest of life. No more dairy. How long? Rest of life. And he says to me, no more fish. I said, how long? He says, 1 year. I'm like, okay, 1 year I can handle. He put me on the strictest diet. And when I went home, I told my lady, and she says, wow, babe. She says, that's hectic. And she said to me, so when are you starting? I said, what do you mean, when am I starting? She says, when are you going to start the diet? I said, I've started already. And she says, but he just told you. I said, well, yeah. If I want my health back, the time to start is now. So why put off something that's going to be to your benefit? Why would you want to stop yourself from taking action for something that's going to empower you? So if it is getting fitter, just do it. If it is healing your body, stop saying, well, let me just get through this rough patch. The biggest thing that stops people from being successful, or one of the biggest things, is making decisions. And what decisions do, Susana, is when you decide, you cut off all other possibilities. You make a decision and you say, this is the direction I'm going in. And so often what happens for most of us, we're afraid to make the wrong decision. So what do? We make no decision.
Yeah.
Which is the most disempowering thing to do. So I'd rather make the wrong decision than make no decision, because if you can't actually do it wrong. You can only do it long. And I really want to say that again. I once said to a friend of mine, I'm just not sure if this is the right thing to do. He says, Robin, you can't really do it wrong. You can only do it long. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you shouldn't get all the information, get all the pros and cons, create a list of pros and cons and da-da-da-da. But at some point, you need to make a decision and decide. And the world is going through massive change at the moment. And unfortunately, I hope I'm not going to offend anybody, I don't think things will ever be the same again. We're in a state of consciousness. The world is evolving, and we are in challenging times. And now more than ever, stop waiting for things to change out there. Stop waiting for the world to improve out there. The power you are looking for resides inside of you. And the thing about the eat that frog is, once you know what you need to do, just do it. Take action and make it happen. I promise you, it'll be short-term pain, long-term gain. The hardest part is the beginning. Once you've made the decision, it's so empowering.
And what's so interesting, and every time, it happens to me every time I avoid eating a frog and then I eat a frog, I go, oh gosh, that was so much easier than
I'm just trying to picture that.
Hey. It's so much easier than I thought it would be. I get a lot of thumbs up coming up, a lot of this one coming up, a lot of 100% coming up, a lot of now is the time to make the change. Absolutely. I'm eating that frog, which is great. Thank you so much, guys. It's so great to hear your comments. I'm gonna ask Rob's two more questions, but what I'd like you guys to do is, if you do have any specific questions, something that you are battling with at the moment, please do type them below. Otherwise, Robs and I will just talk about the things that have been coming up for me. But Robs, what I loved about what you said about the countdown, about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, is you're doing that on a mental level, but actually what it's doing is it's engaging your energetic system, and it's shifting your energetic system, because as you're counting down, you're creating like an energy vibration, aren't you? Like an energy activation that can propel you out of bed. Isn't that what you're actually doing?
To be very honest with you, Susana, I have no idea. What I do know is it works. So here's what I'm going to say to you guys. Try it. I wish I could remember the lady I heard this from. I know that she does health and fitness. That's her main focus. And she's trying to help her students who don't feel like doing the exercise. The whole point she's making is the hardest thing is the beginning. Always the hardest thing is the beginning. And so if you can try that technique. It's worked for me. I actually am trying to think of a time that I used it that it didn't work for me. And I sincerely cannot remember a time thinking, no, I'm not going to do it. Every single time I employ that system of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, I find it actually works exceptionally well. So what I would really recommend to you guys is, I think it just cuts off. I actually don't know, to be honest, but I think what it does do is it cuts off the story that you're telling yourself, or there's the voice in the head, like, oh, I don't feel like, just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. I don't know if have you done a bungee jump?
Of course.
How do they get you to do the bungee jump? What do they tell you to do?
Yeah, they go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Robs, you need to project a little bit more. For some reason,
I still need to project. I think I didn't reboot
again. I don't know what's going on with your thing.
I didn't reboot my computer before I started. I should have done that. Sorry, guys. So I'll just hold this microphone. Does that help? I hope that helps. But I'll eat this mic.
Eat the mic.
I'll eat the mic. So when you do a bungee jump, which I've done as well, and it's bloody scary, it's the scariest thing. I'll never forget doing my bungee jump. And the first time you watch, I did it in a place in South Africa called Blowkrans, which is the highest one in the world, like 216 meters. And I made this commitment, I'm going to do this bungee jump today. And I was on a holiday on my own. I don't know if you've ever done a solo holiday. It's actually beautiful. So I was on this holiday. And I went to go and watch. I thought, well, before I go and sign up, let me first go and watch the people jumping off the bridge. Jeepers, the first person I saw them jump, as I saw them jump, my first reaction, I was like, oh my gosh, I was absolutely terrified. And then I saw the rope catch them. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. That's so great. And then I watched the next person jump. And as they jumped again, I was like, and I was like, oh, and I saw the rope catch them. And by the time the third, fourth, fifth people jump, you kind of go, yeah, but the rope's going to catch them. It's fine. So you kind of lose that initial fear. So I went and I signed up for it. And as they're busy tying my legs up, I'll never forget. And I'm thinking to myself, it's such a beautiful day. I'm so excited about this. This is amazing. And I can't believe I'm doing this jump. And I'm feeling like zero fear. They're tying the ropes around my legs. And what song do you want? And at that time, my favorite was Alanis Morissette. I'm like, yeah, but not the song Fast Forward. Yeah, that song. Yeah, this is the song I want. And I'm like, and so all the time I'm feeling zero fear. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I feel so calm. I feel excited, actually. Yeah, right. As they pick me up, and because they carry you, because you can't walk, your feet are tied together. As they carried me to the edge of the bridge, yeah, suddenly I was like the reality hit me. I'm like, what the hell am I about? I'm like, this is crazy. I shouldn't be doing. And so what they do is they get you to put your hands out in front of you like this, so that you can't turn around and grab them. So you have to put your arms out, and they stand. They won't push you, but they stand and they have your arms. They have their hands in front of your arms. So in case you try and turn around, you can't turn around. And then basically they just go, as they put you down, it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bungee! Cheapest Susana, I'll never forget that moment. As I jumped, I was like, most people scream. I don't know if you scream. I couldn't find my voice. I was like, ah! Ah! But there was no ah. I was like, and then the rope caught me, and as the rope caught me, I went, oh man, there is a God. There is a God. Oh, and then you bounce all the way up, and then you fall again. And even though you know the rope's going to catch you, like, oh, there is a God. 3 times it happened. But I want to tell you,
3 times, each time on your way down.
Each time I felt the fear. Each time I started falling, which is another topic we can speak about. But every time, even though I knew the rope caught me the first time, as you fall again, it's just the most freaky thing. So, and that's another thing about fear. A lot of people often say to me, Robin, how do I overcome fear? Well, recognize you're always going to feel fear. But there's a great book by Susan Sarandon. You know it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Don't let fear stop you from taking action, because if you let fear stop you from taking action, you never take action. So some people are afraid of taking action because they're afraid they're going to make the wrong decision. Well, that's life. You learn from your failures. So anyhow, my point I was just trying to make is that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 bungee, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 do it, try it. I have had 100% success rate, and I mean it. I'm genuinely trying to think of a time that I've actually done it, that it didn't work. But here's the thing, be committed. If you're going to do it, say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And you just get up and go do it, because there's something about that action. When you take action, what is it about action? And I think the biggest thing for a lot of people, they have great ideas in their heads, but they're afraid of taking action because they're afraid of failure. And when we do the fire walk, the hardest step to take is the first. You know, like when I have people stand there and we have to do the fire walk, the first step is the hardest step. And so actually what I'll be doing is I'll be standing next to someone. Do you want to do this? Are you ready? Right, go for it. Go. Say yes, 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 go. And so I don't let them think about it. Don't look at the fire, because if you look at the fire, you're going to see it's hot. You're going to think you're going to burn. Look at the horizon. Think of your vision. Think of why you're doing this. Don't overanalyze it. Just do it. Yes. And the first step is the most challenging. You'll be amazed to realize, Susana, the second, third, fourth, fifth step, they tend to come so much easier. So the hardest step, I don't know why. I've never had someone take the first step and say, let me think about, while I'm on this fire, should I take the second step? Oh, I think I will. No, everybody, once they take the first step, the next step comes automatically. So when you're creating a new life or changing your life, I'm done. When you create a new life or you're changing your life, the first step is the hardest. What you find is the rest will happen automatically.
Okay, and guys, it is 1 minute to 11, so sorry I'm interrupting you, Banks, and I do see your guys' questions coming through, but I do think that Robin is answering your questions as they are coming through, which is quite interesting. But at 11 o'clock GMT +2, that's South African time, is the time that the most people in the world are awake at the same time. And I know everybody has their little routines of thanking the essential workers that have been keeping this world going while we've all gone inside. But every morning at 11 a.m., I howl 3 times and say thank you 3 times. So I hope you guys will all join me. And if you are joining me, give me a thumbs up or a heart so that I know that you're with me. And thanks, I hope you will howl as well. Let's see if you can howl louder than me. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She's crazy.
I know, I am crazy. But doesn't it just activate a vibration of happiness? People laugh, and that's the point. If we could do that.
Craziness, happiness, all the same stuff.
It is. It's joy. If we could all do that in every country in the world at 11 o'clock throughout the whole day, all over the country, we would be activating a positive vibration, and I think that would be amazing. So I see there have been questions coming in. What is the initial step forward? If we are conscious about this particular action, yet we tend to procrastinate and upset ourselves over not taking that action soonest, knowing it will be empowering. I think Robin has answered that question already for you, Harris. But if you want further clarity, just let us know. And then I know that we got another question here. Hold on 1 second. I'm struggling with fear to start. It's causing me not to do anything at all and then being frustrated. It's so common. We all go through this. So Robin was talking about bungee jumping. Now, when I was little, Robs, I don't know if you know this, but I had a devastating fear of heights. I don't know where it came from, but I had a devastating fear of heights. And I hate the idea of being held back because of fear. And so at a young age, I think I was like 11, I decided every time I was confronted with heights, I was going to just dive in there and do whatever it was so that I wouldn't have this fear anymore, so that I could just face this fear. So the first one, I remember we went on a camp and there was this chain ladder. It was in the Drakensberg, and there was this chain ladder. It was like 50 meters of chain ladder down the side of a mountain. It was hanging. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, how am I going to get up this? And then once I'm up, how am I going to get down? And I was like, you're doing it. And I just climbed this chain ladder. I didn't sleep the whole night. We slept on top of the mountain. I didn't sleep the whole night. We were camping there because I was so scared because I had to come down. And then I went down, and then I was like, right, you did that. What's next? Then bungee jumping came out, but they only had the cranes at that stage. And you needed to be 16. And I was 13. And I said to my dad, Dad, I got to do it because I'm scared of heights. So I've got to go and do that. And my dad was like, you're never going to do that. You're petrified of heights. And I was like, I bet you I will. I bet you, I promise if you pay for it, I will. And so my dad was like, there's no way she's going to do it. Sent me up. And there I was, dived off this thing. And so I have constantly in my life, when I feel fear about something, there are moments, of course, like all of you, where I get slightly paralyzed, or where I go, I'm feeling a bit stuck. But now, the more I've practiced it, if I recognize that I'm feeling that fear, I go, okay, you dive in right now, because the minute you dive in, you realize there was nothing to fear in the first place. And that's the important lesson there, is that we're scared of all these things, but failure is a gift, guys. If you fail, it means that you created a big enough goal that was important enough for you to learn something from and then progress in life. If all of your goals are so small that you achieve them all the time, then, what are you reaching for? Dream big, and on the way. And remember, it's not rejection, it's redirection. You're always going in the right direction. So that for me is on fear. I hope you guys are getting this. How to break through limiting beliefs is the next question that's coming through. Let me know if that makes sense to you guys, and if you are going to be daring enough to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to attack that fear and do it anyway. Give us a thumbs up, because I would love to see who is getting the right things out of this. Robs, I know you have to go.
That's fine. I want to, around the limiting beliefs, I can invite, I'm going to be doing a whole session on Mind Power on Wednesday night. So those who want to join me, it's a 2-hour webinar on Mind Power, which is really about overcoming limiting beliefs. So, I can share something now, but let me just go back to, because the question the other person was saying is a real question for a lot of people, starting something new and overcoming the fear about it. So I want to agree with everything you've said there, Susana, but I want to add something. I, at the age of 24, wanted to buy myself a new car. Well, let me rephrase that. I didn't have a car. I had 2 bicycles. And taking the girls out on a bicycle wasn't so cool. Like, you ride that one, I ride this one. And I really wanted to buy a car. But I was living in a spiritual community in Stellenbosch. I was earning very little money, the equivalent of $10 a month today, which is 200 Rand. Having said that, it is 1992, so it's a good 28 years ago. And I really wanted to buy this car, but I had to borrow money from my parents to buy it. And I was absolutely terrified that if I borrowed the money from my parents, what if I couldn't pay them back? I would never, ever forgive myself. So I went to my Italian uncle, Uncle Giovanni Scarcella. And to be completely honest with you, I was asking Uncle Giovanni what he thinks I should do, because actually I knew he was successful. And I was kind of hoping he would, give me the money to buy the car. So but he doesn't know that. But I went to him and he gave me something better. Instead of giving me the money, he gave me the biggest gift of my life, which I think will answer that somebody asked about how do you overcome fear. I said to my Uncle Giovanni, I really want to buy this car, but I'm going to have to borrow most of the money from my parents. And I just don't think I could ever forgive myself if I couldn't pay them back. And I'll never, ever forget what my Uncle Giovanni said to me, because it was a little Volkswagen Beetle I wanted to buy. It was a small little Volkswagen Beetle, 1974 model. And Uncle Giovanni said to me, Robin, my boy, sometimes in life, you must take a chance. You don't take a chance, you don't get anywhere in life. He said, you want to ride bicycle for the rest of your life. So I said, no. He said, so don't be stupid. You don't want to ride bicycle. Sometimes in life, you must take a chance. And then he said to me, don't take stupid a chance. Don't buy Ferrari. He say, but Beetle, you can take this chance. So here's what I want to say to whoever asked the question. Really weigh up the gravity of the risk you're taking. How much risk can you afford to take? Because you don't want to take a Ferrari risk, but you want to take a Beetle risk. You want to take a risk that is it going to empower you? What do you think of the chances of success? And what's the worst that can happen? So when I make decisions, I really do want to weigh up the pros and cons. So I don't just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with everything. You weigh up the pros and cons, and you say, okay, well, for example, the first time I ran a Mind Power course outside of South Africa in New Zealand, I had to send $500,000 out of the country to send, and I didn't know how much was going to come back. And I thought, well, what's the worst that can happen? And I thought, well, the worst that can happen is I'll probably lose about 200,000. And I thought, ooh, how do I feel about losing 200,000? I was like, sheesh, that's a lot of money. Now, I am going back a long time. That's a lot of money for me to lose. I wouldn't want to lose 200,000. I thought, okay, so the worst that happens, that's like the absolute worst. Like, I really did my numbers. What's the best that happens? I thought, well, the best that happens is I'll make 500,000. And I thought, okay, so I could lose 200, but I could make 500. And I thought, can I afford to lose 200,000 at this point in my life to invest into my business? And the answer that came up, yeah, I wouldn't like to, but is it worth the risk that I might lose it, but I might gain 500,000 and I'm going to learn something new. And if I don't do this, I'll never grow my business. I'll always be stuck in my one country. At some point, I'm going to have to take the risk. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I took the risk, and I'm very happy to say I broke even. So I didn't lose 200. I didn't make 500. I broke even. But I'm very happy to tell you that the next year I went back because I started building my brand. The next year I went back and I made $1 million. So what you have to do when you think about this business that you, on whatever the person's name who asked the question, think about, really weigh up the pros and cons. And yeah, it is scary. It is scary, but that's part of the journey of success. You have to go step into your fear, but don't step into it blindly. Really, you want to weigh up, as I said, the pros and cons, and then go, you know what? Actually, when I think about what I could gain and what I could lose, either way, it's not going to kill me, but geez, the chances of gaining. Today, I have an international business, and I go back to that moment very often and say, Robin, take this risk. It's short-term pain, long-term gain. So when you are trying something new, often people come to my Mind Power seminars, they feel so motivated, they feel so inspired that they go and resign from their jobs. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, but I can create my own reality with my thoughts. Yes, you can, but you don't plant a seed today and expect a tree to grow tomorrow. This is a process and a journey. So I'd rather you came up with a plan because you want to be the master of your life and design the life according to the way you want it to. So really what I want to say about the fear, you want to weigh up the pros and cons. You want to make sure you take the right size risk, and you do need, once you're clear that it's worth the risk, take the risk. And are you going to feel the fear? Yes, you are going to feel the fear. No, expect that you're going to feel the fear. In fact, when people don't feel any fear, even on the firewalk, those are the people I'm more concerned about, because fear tells you to get prepared. Fear is actually a gift. What fear tells you, when you're feeling fear, it doesn't mean you should run away. What it tells you is gird your loins, get prepared. There's some intensity coming. So fear is actually your friend. It's there to guide you. All your feelings, all of your emotions. You know, when I hear about people taking antidepressants, and those of you who may be on antidepressants, please don't just stop them. There's a process. You have to wean yourself off them. But my concern with antidepressants is they stop you from feeling, period. So you don't feel. And your feelings are there to guide you. They're there to tell you what feels right, what feels right. They're not there to control you. They're there to guide you. So when you feel fear, what fear is telling you is, get prepared. You're about to change something major in your life. But you feel the feeling and you don't become the feeling. So there's a very big difference between becoming the fear, becoming the anxiety. I've been feeling anxious about what's happening in the world, but what I do is I see the anxiety and I observe it, and then I choose how I'm going to act with it. So please don't disrespect your feelings. Don't disrespect fear. Welcome fear. Appreciate it. Be grateful for fear. Fear is my friend. It's my ally, but I'm not controlled by it. So I don't know if you can get the distinction with that. I hope that's useful.
It's very, very, very useful. All of those things are very useful. Robin and I co-created something called Sustaining the Magic. And I remember when we were creating it, there was a beautiful quote about bravery, that bravery is not the absence of fear, but doing the right thing despite the fear. And just remember that, guys, that there is nobody who has done anything that has been brave without feeling the fear. You always feel the fear. And I love that you said, listen to your fear, because you've got to. Every emotion, like you say, is a wonderful gift. I'm getting a lot of thumbs up, a lot of 1111s. Yes, my favorite number. Thank you, guys.
Ooh, 11.
Yeah, it's just been 1111.
I just missed it.
Robin, your words always make sense. Wow, it's not rejection, it's redirection.
That's not. I like that, Susana.
Thank you, Banksy. And fantastic, thank you. Fantastic, wonderful, thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So guys, the other thing that I wanted to talk about today is actually feed the wolf you wish to grow. But I think what I'm going to do is in our next session, Robs, we can do a theme around that. And the reason why I really want to discuss this theme is because this whole coronavirus situation, there's always positives and negatives, guys. And what I really would love to bring to light is what are the positive things that have come out of us going through this in the world for you? What are the things for you that are positive about what has happened in the world because of coronavirus? Personally, in your life, in your community, and then in the world. I would love to hear back from you so that we can celebrate those positive changes. And what are the negative things that you've left behind that have changed in your life that you would like to leave behind once the world starts shifting again? Because so often things happen and we shift and change and we think, great, now this is the new me. This is what it's going to be like. And then time goes on and we slip back into old ways of being. What are the old ways of being that you are glad to leave behind, that you would like to leave behind permanently? I think those two things are very, very important. I know a lot of you have spoken about fear today. I know we've spoken about fear today. And I know that a lot of people on this planet are battling at the moment with fear around their jobs, around financial security, around food sources, around looking after people that can't look after themselves. I know there's a lot of fear going on. And I know that I've also heard, Banks, I don't know if you've been hearing a lot of this as well, but I'm sure you have, all of these conspiracy theories that, the government is doing something to control us and this and that and the next thing. The thing is, guys, that every day, and Banks, this is one of the things you teach, every day you have a choice of what energy you're going to feed, like what you're going to do that day to feed what energetic field on this planet. And if anything else, if you don't do anything else, just focus on that. Feed the positive. Feed the positive. Focus on the positive things that you individually can do for yourself, for your family, and for your community. And don't feed the negative, because we are going through an upgrade at the moment. We're going through an energetic upgrade. It did start in 2012, but we are in an accelerated space at the moment. And this upgrade is happening. The more vibrations of love, compassion, hope, care that we create right now, the quicker we will move through this. And so I invite you, please, all to join me to do that and be crazy and howl at 11 o'clock every day. So Banksy, that's what I would like to discuss next time. Does that sound like a good topic, something that you think would be?
Absolutely, any topic. I love discussing any topic. But no, it sounds like a great topic. I'd love to chat about that. I'm just aware that someone did ask a question about limiting beliefs. So can I touch on that just very briefly?
Yeah, and what I'll do as well is I will share the link for Robin's webinar that he's having on Wednesday night, so that you guys can watch that webinar as well, because I know that it'll probably be at least an hour long, because Robs loves to talk. It's a 2-hour webinar. Okay, so it'll be a 2-hour webinar and it'll go very in depth in this. But yes, of course, Rob, go ahead.
So that webinar is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, 27th of May. And it's a free webinar for everyone. And basically, we'll be discussing mind power and specifically limiting beliefs. But in case the person who asked the question is unable to be there, the thing we need to recognize is our beliefs have been created by ourselves. We have created our belief systems. Now, most of the times, the way we've created our belief systems is by unconsciously reacting to and responding to what we call the outer world. From the time you were little, you've heard things about yourself, from your parents, from your schooling, from your upbringing, from what the other kids said. So what happens is that something happens in your life and you make up a story about what that means about who you are. So, for example, you're in love with someone and your partner breaks up with you, and then to make it worse, they start seeing your best friend. Now, that happens. Now, good and bad things happen to all of us. And that's the thing we have to get over. Like most people go, why do bad things happen to me? Because that's called life. Good and bad things happen to all of us. But it's never about what happens. It's the story you make up about what it means. It's the meaning you give it that's either going to empower or disempower you. So some people from that situation will go, you see, I'm just not good enough. I don't have what it takes. My best friend is obviously the one, and I'm not attractive enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. So we start getting into our heads about why it happened. Some people have the exact same experience as well. Good riddance. Thank goodness I didn't stay with that relationship, if that's the kind of. So it's never about what happens. It's always the story you create. Now, unfortunately, for most of us, our belief systems have been created by our past, by what's happened in the past. And when most of the time when you weren't really that conscious and you weren't really aware, you were just reacting. So your limiting beliefs, whatever the question was that you had asked, the limiting beliefs, you have created it. You may not have consciously created it. At an unconscious level, you've created the belief system. But here's the beauty. Now that you're aware that you have it, you have the power to recreate the belief system through a technique called weeding and seeding. So weeding is when you find out you're having the negative belief system, you have to go in there and you have to start taking out those negative belief systems, literally like you take weeds out of a garden of rich, fertile soil. So if you have a garden, before you can sow new seeds, the first thing you have to do is take out the weeds. So the fact that you're aware that you have the negative belief system is the first bit. So I won't go into weeding right now, but what I will tell you is how to start seeding. So if you know what it is that your limiting belief system is, like, for example, I'll never be successful. That's a limiting belief system because your success is created purely by you. So, and it is 100% you. It's not the economy. Most people go, no, but I can't be successful because the economy is bad. Well, how come other people are succeeding in the same economy? Oh, they're lucky. No, they're not lucky. They know how to create the right belief systems. So your life, the first thing you need to do is take responsibility for the fact that your life is the way it is because of you. You are creating the life you're living. Now, that's not bad news. I'm actually giving you good news because if you don't like the life you're living, you have the power to change it. So I won't, as I said, I can't go into seeding now. It's a much deeper process. I mean, weeding. But how do we sow the seed? So if you know you have a belief system that I'll never be successful because that's a limiting belief system, you reprogram the mind with a new belief system. I am tremendously successful. I am tremendous. So you repeat that to yourself over and over again, or as many times as you want during the day. Because you want to actually get rid of the belief that you won't be successful and start creating the belief that you are already tremendously successful. And then that'll start changing the belief system, the limiting belief. So please know that what I've given you is really just the tip of the iceberg. But I didn't want to go, Susana, without helping the person who answered that question. The main thing, so here are the 3 points. Number 1, your belief systems have been created by you, probably unconsciously. Number 2, you have the power to change it by consciously changing your belief systems, by feeding your mind the thoughts you wanted to think. So those 3 things help. I hope that's useful. But if you do come and join me on Wednesday, I'll go into a lot more depth to assist you with that.
Absolutely. So for all of you who found that useful, please give us a thumbs up now. I can see that Yasha, I love this. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. So it is change. Because we change that feeling of absolute certainty. And there's tools and techniques that you guys can use in order to change it. And that's one of the great things that Robin teaches in his Mind Power course. I've done the Mind Power course 4 times, I think, Robs. And I always learn something more new every time. Like there's a new little deeper level of like, aha, okay, I get that even more this time. It's like reading a book of wisdom. If you read something that is true wisdom and truth, the more times you read it, the more times you will dig deeper into the different layers. And remember, guys, you will always receive the right information for exactly where you are on your path. So whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching a recording of this, we live in an energetic, vibrational world that brings you exactly what you need to hear right now in this moment. And so please give me a thumbs up if this is making sense to you, whether you're watching it recorded or whether you're watching the live version now. I hope that you know that you're hearing exactly what you need right now. Fully agree with you, Susana. Amazing. Thank you. I've done the Mind Power course twice as well. I've got some people saying.
Who's that?
Padumas. I don't know the real name. It's on Instagram, so they've got a handle. But Padu,
Okay.
I'm not sure what your real name is, but let me know, and I'll pass that on to Robin. Seholo says, good and bad things happen to all of us. It's so true. Wow, 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 says Pakamile. Yasha, just completed Mind Power and currently...
I know Yasha, very well.
Just completed Mind Power and currently doing Sustaining the Magic. Wow, it's been a life-changing process. These techniques. And unfortunately, Yasha, I can't see the rest of your message, but I'm so glad that you've enjoyed. We can change our belief systems, but how do we work with our emotions? So that will be, I think that can be something that we can also talk about. You know, one of the things that Robin mentioned earlier on is something I always repeat as well, is that greet every emotion with compassion and gratitude, because every single emotion is there for a reason. It has come to aid you in some way. And sometimes you need to just actually soothe yourself through that, but just allow yourself to feel whatever emotion comes up, because it really is there as a gift. And Robin and I think, spoke about this last time Robin was on with me, that sometimes you need to actually just give yourself a few minutes and act like a kid and throw a tantrum and cry and just let it out and release it and then move on. So feel your emotions, release them, don't become your emotions. That's very, very important. So today, just to wrap it up, guys, you know, I spoke about facing my fear. That didn't mean by jumping out planes. I've done skydiving, I've done all kinds of things, but that doesn't mean that I didn't make sure there was a parachute. You know, it didn't mean I didn't have, you know, the bungee cord attached to my ankles. I didn't just go and jump out a plane. And so going to Robin's point, you know, there's 3 things that he does when he takes a risk. These are important steps. Weigh up the pros and cons, and then make sure it's the right size risk. I wouldn't have just jumped out a plane without anything, you know, attached to me. Sorry?
That's stupid.
Yeah, that is stupid. And so of course there are stupid risks, you know, in life. So weigh that up and make sure your risk is not beyond what you could recover from. I think that's the important thing. Feel the fear. Remember that bravery is doing the right thing despite the fear. Feel the fear, embrace the fear, allow it to move through you and thank it for coming to you. But do it anyway. Eat that frog. Even if you have to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, eat that frog. Dive in and eat that frog. Poor little frog. But you need to eat that frog. And I really, if you guys in the next couple of days or weeks decide you're going to go and do that thing that you have been thinking about doing, please share it with us. I'd love to know. Robs would also love to know. And please, if you're watching this, whether it's live or a recording, I'd love to know what the key thing, the key takeaway from this session was for you, and where in the world you were coming from, because I like knowing which countries you guys are coming from. So what was the thing that you took away that was the most valuable for you today, and where in the world you're coming from? I see that there are people saying that they want to enroll in the course. I am going to share the webinar link for you guys, and I'm sure Robin will give you details on how to join his next course. I know you're currently running a course, Robs.
Yeah, you know, the amazing thing for all of us is just to be aware that fear, this is my current favorite quote. I always have a favorite quote. My current favorite quote is, fear is not a force to be feared, but an opportunity to be seized. I love that. Fear, change, I lie. Change is not a force to be feared, but an opportunity to be seized. So for those of you who are experiencing an incredible amount of change right now, it's not something to be feared. There's an opportunity here for you to seize if you can find the opportunity. So why I'm saying that is that, yeah, I feel so blessed. Initially, I had incredible fear about going into this lockdown, and we can't have events for more than 100 people at a time. or 50 actually, and my seminars are thousands of people. So I was like, that's my whole business model. The most amazing thing is I've been able to go online and reach way more people in the last 2 months than it would probably take me at probably 7-8 months to reach the amount of people I've reached in 2 months. So this has been a great opportunity for me to make an even bigger difference on the world, but I had to see it. So my point I'm just trying to make is that I'm actually running more and more seminars because I'm actually able to reach more and more people. And the benefit is that I don't have the overheads, which means I can pay that forward. So I can give the gift forward to my students and my delegates. And that's one, I feel like we're a bit scattered in our messaging here, but I trust when something comes up that I should share it. One of the biggest things I really want to say to people at this point is let's not focus on what we're getting, but rather what we're giving. How can we, in this time of change, focus on what you have to give, not focusing on what you're not getting? Because I promise you, as you give, so shall you receive is such a true proverb. And I've really taken it on in this time of change, is that I've got something to offer that'll really make a difference to people. And so I want to give it to as many people as I possibly can, because that's how we're going to create a new world. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but I think we're in very exciting times. It doesn't mean they're not challenging, guys. Please know that you're going to have a range of emotions. And so observe your emotions, feel the emotions, don't become them. That's really the key essence, and let them guide you. So these are interesting times. These are amazing times. But I think there's a massive opportunity for us to recreate not only ourselves, but recreate the world and actually have a vision of a much more balanced, harmonious world. And I think those of us who are interested can be pioneers for a new way of being for mankind, because the old way is obsolete. The way we've been living is just not working. If you really take time to examine what we're doing to the planet, it's not sustainable. And the focus has been on what am I getting? How can I get more? How can I have more materialism? How can I have more, me? And I am as guilty of that. And I really want to say that. I'm not judging other people. I am as guilty of that as I think many of us are. But I think for me, what I'm interested in doing is changing the focus and saying, okay, how can I truly focus on what kind of world do I really want to live in? At the moment, my number one mind power technique is I'm contemplating, what does success really mean to me? Like, what does it really mean? Like, is it about how much money I have? That's not success. Success for me is, am I making a difference? Am I leaving my mark? Am I living my life with purpose? Am I truly evolving? Am I growing? Am I making a difference? Am I better than I was yesterday? So, and I'm enjoying this contemplation. It's something I'm doing with Mind Power Masterclass. It's a new course I'm doing with John Keogh. And each and every one of us, no one gets to define what success means but you. You get to choose what success means to you. It is your choice. For some people, it's about being a great mother. For some people, it's about being a great speaker. For me, that's my definition of success. So each and every one of us gets to decide. So yeah, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, so I'm going to shut up.
I mean, Rob, you touching on exactly what I want our next session to be about. You know, feed the wolf you wish to grow. And, you know, although this has been a scary time, there have been immense gifts that have come out of this time. Absolutely immense gifts that have come out of this time. And for those of you who are watching, please give me a thumbs up if you can see the gifts in your life, because they are not only for us, but for this planet. You know, I bumped into a friend of mine who's a surfer when I was walking on the promenade the other day. And he was moaning about the fact that he needed to get back in the ocean and this and that and next thing. And I was like, oh, I get it. I miss the ocean so much. I'm so desperate to swim in the water. I said, do you know how happy she is without us in it? She's having such a great time just rejuvenating herself, you know? Like, there are dolphins swimming in Durban for the first time in years because the shark nets have been put down, and so they're surfing in the waves for the first time in years because they actually can. If we go to Thailand, there is a species of turtles that was on the near extinction list. They were highly endangered, that have barely been seen, and more turtles from that specific breed have been seen now than in the last 20 years. In the last few weeks, more of them have been seen because there's no one on the beaches. So they are able to come and lay their eggs in peace. And their eggs are able to hatch in peace. I mean, the earth is really just rejuvenating. And so every time you think, I'm not allowed to do this, think about all the great things that are being allowed to come to light in this time as well. Feed the right wolf. So I love what you said. I love it, because there are things, I don't think ever in the history of mankind, and I'm being very bold in this, I know, but I do not think that ever in the history of humankind that there's been a greater show of love as a planet than there is right now. That greater amounts of people are actually helping people who can't help themselves. That greater amounts of people are giving up certain luxuries and things that they would want to stay inside to protect others. There are wonderful, wonderful things happening, guys. There are challenges, I get it, but there are wonderful, wonderful things. I can see a lot of thumbs up coming through, thought the same, hearts, ascension to the fifth dimension. Yes, you guys need to listen to my Wednesday session, because I speak a lot about the fourth and the fifth dimension and our move. We are all awakening beings. Somebody said, you're rambling along, Robin, but we love it. Love that. Interesting. It's all about perception. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Tuning in from Mozambique. Okay, so we've come to the end of our session, and we have gone very long, but Robin and I love to talk and ramble on. Both of us do that. Next week, I will not be on live at all next week, guys. I need a week to do back-end stuff, get stuff together, but I will be relaunching on the 1st of June, and Robin will be back with us in 2 weeks from now. And so he will be back, don't worry, and we will be speaking about feeding the wolf, the right wolf. What are you happy about, and what are you happy to leave behind? Let's talk about these things, because they will inspire other people, and they will also turn that light on for other people. When you hear something, sometimes you just have this realization, and it shifts everything in your reality. So I look forward to that. Banksy, much love, my friend. Thank you for all your wisdom and sharing. Please do give me that link for the webinar, and I'll pop it into the information.
Well, the easiest thing, actually at this point, the easiest thing is just go to my website, robinbanks.co.za. robinbanks.co.za, and you can actually just sign up on the website. So it's www.robinbanks.co.za, and you can sign up for the webinar on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a Mind Power introductory session. Yasha, you've done it many times. Padu, you've probably done it too. But I always love having my good old faithful students there. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Susana, for your love. Thank you to everyone. Go well, and don't forget to be awesome.